Hello everyone and welcome once more. I want to say a very big thank you to all my viewers and all my subscribers, and if you have not yet subscribed, please do well to subscribe so that when next I put the new video up, you're going to be the first to be notified. Yes, thank you once more. And today we are going to be talking about intermittent fasting, how it works, things you need to know before you take up intermittent fasting, what are the benefits, what are the side effects, and lastly I'm going to be giving you tips you can use when you're doing intermittent fasting to keep you going. Now, what is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is that eating pattern where you alternate between periods of fasting and eating, and that means it doesn't specify what you should eat but rather when you should eat. And there are so many different types of intermittent fasting, but we'll be focusing on two: the 5:2 ratio and the 16:8. Now, how does intermittent fasting work? It prolongs the period of calorie consumption by your body during your last meal, and when all those calories are consumed, your body now begins burning fats to produce energy. In a nutshell, after hours without food, the body exhausts all its sugar storage and starts burning fats. So that is how intermittent fasting works. It is advisable to confirm with your doctor before you take up any plan in doing intermittent fasting. And we will talk about the 16:8 plan. This is where you fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8 hours window. And we also have the 5/2 plan, and this is where you eat regularly for 5 days within a week. And then you choose 2 days where you limit yourself to one meal with a maximum of 600 calories per day. But the day which you choose must not necessarily be 2 days at a go. You can choose maybe a Monday and a Thursday where you have a maximum of 600 calories, and the rest of the days you eat like you would normally do. Also bear in mind that if you eat massive amounts during your eating period of the 5 days, then you may not lose any weight at all. And this goes same for the 16:8 fasting plan, because if you eat a lot during your 8 hours window, then within those 16 hours your body is supposed to burn all your calories and start using the fats in your body to produce energy. It will still be there burning that amount of calorie which you ate, because it will be a lot of calories to burn within 16 hours. So that is another thing you should really be mindful of when you're making your meal plans on what to eat. Now, the next thing is I'll be talking about the benefits. What are the benefits of intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting might slightly boost your metabolism. It's also effective for weight loss and belly fats. Intermittent fasting also helps you to reduce your insulin level, and as such, making your body fats more accessible. So in a nutshell, intermittent fasting lowers your blood sugar and fasting insulin levels, which protects you against type 2 diabetes. Intermittent fasting also helps you to have a healthy heart because it reduces the bad cholesterol in your blood. It goes as well too for cancer. It's not proven on humans, but animal studies have also suggested that intermittent fasting may prevent cancer. The next thing is what? A healthy brain. Intermittent fasting aids in the growth of new nerve cells and increases some brain hormones. And last but not the least, intermittent fasting helps in the prevention of obesity. Now, we go into some considerations which you should make when you are taking up intermittent fasting. 0-calorie beverages, for example, water, tea, and black coffee, are very good drinks you can take when you're doing intermittent fasting during your fasting window. Another thing is you need to avoid massive amounts of food during your 8 hours eating windows, or if you decide to do the 5:2 during the 5 days where you have to eat. And last but not the least, try to eat healthy meal choices and eat a balanced diet. You should avoid intermittent fasting if you fall under this category of people: if you're underweight, if you have underlying health conditions like low blood pressure and diabetes, if you have eating disorders, if you have mental disorders, if you are a woman who has fertility issues and conception issues, if you're pregnant, and if you are a breastfeeding mother. Please try to avoid intermittent fasting until your health is stable before you take it up. The next thing is the side effects of intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting has been shown to cause irregular menstrual cycles to some women. Not all, but some women have experienced that, and when they stop intermittent fasting, their menstrual cycle goes back to being normal the way it was. Intermittent fasting also it makes you hungry, you feel body weakness, and you have a low brain performance in the beginning because your body is still struggling to adapt to the changes. But with time, those symptoms disappear. And the next thing is you also experience heartburn. For those especially who always have like gastric issues, you develop some heartburn because your body too is struggling to adapt to the new changes of being for long hours without food. And that is why if you are that kind of person who has heartburn issues, consider drinking a lot during your fasting period. And the next will be that you might experience reflux due to overeating during your 8 hours eating windows. For people who have not used to eating a large amount of food, if you eat so much because you want to gather a lot of calories to be able to use within the period when you're doing your fasting, you can develop reflux where food comes back. You regurgitate and the food comes back into your mouth. And the last thing we'll be talking about are some tips which you can use if you're taking up intermittent fasting. First, you mind what you eat, you consume water regularly, you avoid watching food programs to prevent temptations, you avoid exercising during your fasting window because that will make you so weak and you'll be craving for food. Distract yourself with activities. For example, you can read a book, you can do some light exercises like playing draft or ludo or any other thing just to keep yourself away from food. Also remember to brush your teeth after your last meal during your eating window. And last but not the least, drink low-calorie beverages that will suppress your appetite. For example, cinnamon tea. Cinnamon tea is a very good example of a low-calorie beverage, which also helps to suppress your appetite and you don't feel hungry. Also remember, when drawing your plan, to avoid food 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. That was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and see you in my next video. Remember, you alone can make that change happen. Thank you.